Hey everyone, and welcome back to another adventure in the garage. What an awesome scene played out in the 1992 classic film Home Alone 2. Today I wanted to answer the question, in the film, would it be possible for Kevin to actually electrocute Marv, as played out in this scene? And if the circumstances were correct, how much voltage and current would have been delivered to Marv, and would it be lethal? Let's review in this week's Hollywood Breakdown. I'm not going to go over the entire premise of the movie, but let's briefly set up the scene. Marv approaches a utility sink to wash his hands and face. Unbeknownst to him, Kevin has attached an arc welder to the back of the sink's hot and cold valves. Let's take a look at the plumbing and the arc welding connections. We can see that the arc welding clamps are attached to what are the hot and cold water valves. The valves are electrically isolated from the rest of the house's plumbing since their feet connections are just rubber hoses. And also the valves are not connected to the faucet or each other, meaning that the state of our circuit is open, allowing no electrical current to flow. Let's go over the basics of electrical and welding to get a better understanding of how things are set up. Welding is a machine or a process that creates a very controlled short circuit. And through this controlled short circuit, we can precisely control the amount of amperage. What is a short circuit? A short circuit is when you have a power supply, whether it be a battery or the outlet in your wall, and you have your positive and your common. There's nothing to power in between. You don't have like a light bulb or something like that. You just have a direct path back to the power source. And that's going to create a short circuit. And we can take a look at that here, because it's just power flowing through. Something that we want to think about too is, even though this is a bare piece of metal and I can put my hand on it, the electricity, it wants to take the least path to ground. My body is not a good path to ground right now. Welding is this very controlled situation. We have a short circuit, but we're doing it in such a way that it's not going to harm the power source or ourselves. So now that we have kind of a basic understanding of what welding is, let's set up the way that Kevin currently has the sink. This is basically Kevin set up right now with that arc welder. He has a hot and a common, and they're completely isolated from the rest of the house and from each other. If we had a normal, typical faucet, we would have connection together. It would be shorted out like that. See how that's shorting out? If that were to happen, the power would still have a good path to ground. I'm not going to get hurt, even though there's all these sparks. Current can start to flow, so things might start to heat up as that current flows, or our circuit protection could start to kick in, pop open. Either way, there's no way to really get hurt in this scenario. So Kevin has it set up really well to where each clamp is isolated. If Marv were to touch each valve independently with each hand, then Marv's body would complete the circuit and allow the current to start to flow. The way Kevin has set it up is completely possible. Is there a way that we can figure out how the circuit works to see how much voltage and current is flowing through Marv's body? And would it be lethal, or would it be just a little bit of a shock? I think it's safe to say Kevin has a good understanding of basic electrical theory. Let's get a look at the arc welder. It's a Lincoln Electric AC/DC 225/125 arc welder with an input voltage of 230 volts single phase at 60 hertz and rated output amperage of 125 amps for its DC setting or 225 amps for its AC setting. However, the rated output voltage isn't listed by the manufacturer. After doing some digging, this unit is rated for approximately 25 volts at the 225 AC amperage setting. So to keep the math simple moving forward, we'll assume all output voltage is at 25 volts, even though in real life it may vary. Obviously, Marv is not having a good time. Let's look at the settings Kevin set the arc welder to for the initial delivery of electric shock. Kevin has the arc welder set to AC, so we're going to use the outermost scale in white. When he turned on the welder, it was at its lowest setting of 40 amps. Again, we'll make the assumption for math purposes only that it's at 25 volts output, which is about 1,000 watts of available power. However, that would only mean that up to 40 amps of current is available. We need to consider amperage is pulled by an electrical load, not pushed. So the amount of current drawn will be determined by the electrical resistance of our load, also known as Marv's body. It says here that the resistance of the human body is somewhere between 500 and 3,000 ohms, depending on moisture and other factors. So we'll use these numbers for our demonstration. I went ahead and set up a little demonstration to show the voltage and current that Marv's body would have been experiencing. We have to remember that there's AC power and DC power. DC power is what I utilized earlier in the video with the battery. AC power is more of like the type of power that comes out of our wall. It stands for alternating current. And with AC power, the current and voltage go back and forth from plus to minus, where DC power or direct current stays stagnant. The positive is always positive, negative is always negative. So I have set up here two different instruments for measuring. On the right hand here, I have what's going to be measuring our AC voltage, and then here we'll be measuring our AC current. There are three different types of main loads in the eyes of electricity. There's inductive, capacitive, and resistive. For AC and DC, for resistive loads, the math will be exactly the same. Our bodies in the eyes of electricity are considered resistive loads. That's why that's important to take into consideration. So I'm going to be using resistors in place of my body to demonstrate the voltage and current that takes place based off of the numbers that were given to us earlier, with the body measuring somewhere between 3,000 and 500 ohms. For my first voltage and amperage measurement, I'm going to use a little 2.2k ohm resistor, or think of it as like 2,200 ohms of resistance. We'll be able to monitor our voltage and current and see what shows up. Let's take a look. I had to switch out my resistive load because current draw was so small that my meter isn't rated to measure it for AC current. Right now I have a 500 ohm resistor, and that resistor is pulling 50 milliamps of current. And lastly, in the name of science, I wanted to see exactly what it would feel like to experience 25 volts AC. Let's take a measurement of my resistance right now. I'm showing about 33k ohms between my fingers. We are live with 25 volts. Ooh. It's a little tingle. It's a little funny feeling. It's kind of like when you bump your funny bone and you can just feel like a little bit of sand in your fingers. But you kind of have to hold it there for a second. But that's what Marv would have experienced in real life. Despite the amount of available amperage, at 25 volts AC, just that tingle. Now that we have a better understanding of how our electrical circuit works, let's review how it's played out in the movie. Okay, so this might be a little overdramatic. Huh. Here we can see that Kevin turns up the available amperage of the welder's output to 90 amps. However, we know that just because this amperage is available doesn't mean that our electrical load, also known as Marv's body, is able to utilize that amperage. We can see at the end here that Kevin finally shut off the arc welder and what setting it was on before he finally shut it off. He had cranked it to its maximum output amperage of 225. In summary, although the electrical circuit Kevin set up made electrical shock possible for Marv, the most he would have experienced is a small electrical shock, and nothing even close to lethal, and obviously nothing that would show a skeleton. Knowing what we know now about some basic electrical and how circuits work, would Harry have been able to turn on the light bulb afterward? Thanks for checking out another adventure in the garage. If you have any questions, let me know down in the comment section. I'll catch you on the next one.